Welcome back to the Forex Fortress, about to wrap up week number 2, of which I want to follow up on yesterday's short-term time frame analysis, maybe do a little bit of Bitcoin action as well. And also, a very quick announcement, actually a little bit funny, but I've been seeing a lot of people asking how to get into the Discord, or can I join the Discord? Of course, anyone can join. It's completely free, completely open to anyone. All you have to do is one thing. It's very, very simple. I even have a quick video on it as well if you do happen to give a fuck. And it's quite literally this. Once you join the Discord server, all you have to do is you'll notice at the top left of Discord, you'll have a private message, and the private message will be coming from a red alt-dentifier bot. It's literally called alt-dentifier. That is the name of it, and it's going to prompt you with a link to go verify yourself on some other social media venue, which essentially, confirms that like you're not a bot and you're not going to like spam a bunch of people, and well, you're going to like keep the peace in the Discord, which anyone can do, of course. But I've been getting a lot of questions about like people asking like, am I banned, or did I do something wrong? No, you're completely fine. All you have to do is just rejoin the Discord and go through that, and then you're more than happy to, we're more than happy to have you back in. Anyways, starting off with Dixie, as always, get the general biases. And seeing as today is Friday, there's probably gonna be much more of a focus on the weekly closures rather than short-term timeframes. But yesterday we were looking for a little bit of upside action on Dixie, then followed by retesting the lows of not yesterday, but the day before, the 21st of October. I believe that that's what we're seeing right now, and I do believe that this one is going to be coming down now short term. So realistically, set up for the daily and weekly closure. Really anywhere here or lower, or especially below $92.50, I will be looking for an extension on this move to the downside coming into next week. But again, it is very important to be aware of where we are in the greater scale of things. And while I do think that we're gonna have a little more downside here, probably back down to like $92 base, I would be looking for a greater bounce right there. Now, of course, can I be wrong in that? Can that be phenomenally, terribly wrong? Yes, but until that breaks, I still operate off of the assumption that this is likely to work out as a macro low. Essentially, it's coming down to not the weekly, but the monthly 200 exponential average right here. Now, could we come down a little bit lower to officially test it? Yeah, definitely possible. But for right now, I do still look at this as likely a nice long-term pivot point. Long-term, not speaking towards like the hourly or the 4-hour, even the daily or even the weekly right now. But with all of that in mind, extremely long-term, yes, I am interested in it, within that region. But daily and under, and even on the weekly schedule right here too, I would be looking for it to retest the low of this week at around $92.50, and I wouldn't be surprised if we actually even close below that, and I would be looking lower coming into next week as well. So down is the bias for that. We're just going to essentially have a short-term upside bias for most of the US dollar pairings. Not always, but for most of them, yes, I would be looking for a little bit of upside here. So with that in mind, we'll go down the list. We'll go down the list. We'll start off with Aussie dollar right here. We did say yesterday run back up towards about 71.5 cents, and I've never really felt that inclined by this one. I feel like I've flip-flopped on this one quite a bit. I forget yesterday if I said it was coming back down to about 70.5 cents or 71.5 cents. Both of those are kind of like the short-term pivots right here. But overall, I keep an eye on the weekly right now as we are setting up for coming into next week. And this one likely to carry out a little bit of a bounce coming into next week as well. But I do still look at this as long-term really bad, actually. So fair enough. Looking at the daily right here, is it likely that we get a little bit more on this run? Yeah, probably yes. Coming back up to just under 72 cents, somewhere around like 71.80 to 71.90-ish regions where I'll be looking towards, and then maybe a little more drama on top of that. Do we actually have any divergences here as well? No, we don't. Yeah, we don't right now, but we do some momentum also just turning up at the same time, so I would look for a little bit of short-term upside in line with what we see on Dixie as well. Again, anywhere around 71.850 to about 72 cents, and then we'll come back next week and check it out. What do we have next? We got CAD dollar right here. Yesterday, I believe that we were Boolah-ish on it, and I'd still be Boolah-ish on it here. I do think that it's popping back up to about 76.30-ish region, currently trading about 76.18. And how's the weekly looking like? Weekly is very interesting. So I could actually get a lot more bullish on this coming into next week if we do close above 76.40-ish region. Anywhere above there, very, 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 very good, and likely does test up towards the prior high on this run in 31st of October, somewhere just below 77 cents if that were to happen. But it's a long day left to go, so I wouldn't necessarily say that just yet. I do think, though, short-term upside, yes, probably popping back up towards about 76.35 region. Very, 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 very keen to see where the weekly actually closes. As it is right now, short term, yes, a little bit more upside here. What about Swiss franc dollar? One of the more strong ones that we looked at over this week as well, and I'd still be bullish on it as tier 2. I really don't have much to add on to this. I'd still be looking for that move towards about 111-ish region, and then we'll come back after that and check it out. What about the weekly here too? Weekly's looking pretty damn good. Any sort of a weekly closure above 110.5, and I will be bullish for new highs highs on this run as well, coming into next week, and then we can maybe even talk about a move towards like 111. 111 and a half, more long term. But for right now, short term, medium term, long term, all bullish as well. So kind of seeing everything line up. What about do we want to look at euro, Aussie dollar? Sure, sure. No opinion. No opinion. Probably a little bit of sideways, and probably does pop back up. But Jesus Christ, man, I do not. Yeah, I really don't have an opinion on something like this. Maybe a daily will reveal it. Still no opinion now. Not really. I don't know if someone requested this or not, but I'm just going to delete off my list because this is a very unattractive chart. So there you go. A chart only a mother could love. Although I've definitely seen worse charts in my life. Just that one doesn't really look all that enticing. No major setups right now. What about euro pound? Yesterday I was looking for this one to probably grind out the low again and actually head lower. I'm gonna I'm gonna reassess my opinion on that. I don't know. I don't feel all that strongly about this one within this region. Long term, I actually do kind of like this one. Short term though, do I have any certain proclivities? I feel like if we were going to see that move that I was looking for yesterday to come back down, actually all the way down to like 90ish, or what was it, like 90 cents? Or no, we did get down to 90 cents. Was I looking for a move down to 89.50 then? Perhaps yes, because I feel like that's what I would have been saying if I saw that right there. But realistically, I don't have a strong opinion on this one either. I feel like if you were going to see a breakdown, it either it either happens today or early next week. But for right now, kind of holding in there, especially with the weekly close looming overhead. This is kind of a hard chart to hate as well. But if we do see another leg to the downside, I would be looking towards about 89.50 to 89.25 region. Is there anything going to be revealed by maybe looking at a monthly here? Yeah, monthly is still bullish. So you know what? If it does come back down to that level, I actually would be looking for a big bounce. So long term, macro bullish. Short term, medium term, no strong opinions here actually. So fair enough. What about euro dollar? Looking good. Yesterday, I forget what I said on this one yesterday. Overall, the look on this one was bullish. Short term, was I bearish on this one, looking for a move back down to the 200 simple? Probably yes. We almost got there. Close enough is close enough. And now momentum turning back onto the upside on the short-term timeframes, also on the daily, I believe, as well, and probably even the weekly here too. This one looks very similar to one of the more bullish ones that we saw earlier. Maybe it was Swiss franc dollar, maybe it was Canadian dollar. But any sort of a weekly closure above 119 and some odd change is going to look really good for continuation coming in next week. Of course, it's also important to reflect upon this area. Oh, fuck. Oh, man, I deleted this chart right here. All right, well, whatever. Let's just put it on the monthly. Very simple stuff, right? Oh, man. Okay, that's why it actually deleted, because I'm using a different chart. Let's see. Where was my last one? It's not Oanda, maybe Ice I did it on. Yeah, it looks like I did it on Ice. Monthly kind of coming up towards the 200 exponential moving average right now. I'd probably hold off on any sort of long-term reservation on this one just yet. But yeah, short-term, I would be looking for a little bit more upside here, probably towards about 119 even, and then come back after that and reassess. I want to see where the weekly closed before I say anything more on that one. But yeah, short-term and medium-term upside. What about pound yen? This one is, oh, Jesus Christ, man. Fuck this thing. Short-term upside, yeah, I'd be looking for it to pop back up towards 137 and 60 cents. Yesterday, I do believe I was looking for upside as well. Looks like I was wrong in the short-term call, but I do still actually think it's going to hit on the medium-term call here, and likely does head back up, yeah, towards this region. 130, actually, it's more like 137 and a half, and then 137 and 3/4. I'd actually still stick with that. Just looking at the weekly close as well. Fuck, man, the weekly looks absolutely abysmal. Long term, this is fucking abysmal. This is very tight margins here, because while I do think short term has a little bit of upside, long term is very bad. Very, 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 very bad. But can you fit in some short term upside with some long term downside? Well, of course. I mean, there's plenty of rallies right here, right here, right here. So fair enough. I think I'd hold reservation on this one as well. Short term though, yeah, it probably does pop back up, pop back up a little bit more. What do we see on pound dollar? Same thing, looking like a little bit of short term upside, back up to about 131 and a half. And what do we see on the daily right here? Yeah, kind of holding its nice formation as it is right now. What about weekly? Same thing, brushing up against the 200 exponential moving average. So we're seeing a lot of very similar charts today with some of the more weaker ones versus the dollar. They are getting chances to rally in the short term, which they are, but I'm concerned about the long term here. So I basically have the same thing to say about all of them. Short term, yes, upside. Like I said, coming back up, 131 and a half region. Then I want to see where the weekly close before saying anything else, because I feel like we're kind of still looking at an incomplete puzzle right now. What about yen dollar? What do we see right here? Bullish AF. What do we see on daily? I don't have an opinion on whether it comes back down to 95 cents or sorry, not point not 95 or not. Long term on the weekly, this is very likely to head back up towards just above 96 and probably more than that over time. I'd actually be looking at this level long term for the weekly right here, anywhere right about here. So that would be about actually 96.69, which is a great number, easy to remember as well. And yeah, so long term bullish. Short term, you know, could it come back down and tag 95 30ish region first? Possibly yes, but realistically, I'm looking for more upside on this one. So I'd keep a keen eye on the weekly. What else we got on top of that? Do we want to look at some? Oh yeah, that was right. Nate asked for something. Yeah, it was Aussie Canadian dollar. That's two shitcoins going against each other. I'd probably be looking for this one to have a little more upside short term, probably somewhere back around 94 cents region, just above 94 cents. And then I'd want to reassess it after that. I don't really have a strong opinion on it, but probably does play out this bounce a little bit more. So short term up, yes. Then after that, I probably want to see the weekly closure. And if I had to call it right now, I probably would be looking for a little bit more of an extension on top of that, maybe all the way back up to about 94.5 cents. But for right now, I think it's more appropriate for me to just talk about the short term and then see the weekly, and then we'll come back next week and check it out. What about gold? Gold, we were looking for a little bit of an upside test yesterday as well. Kind of got it, kind of didn't get it. I think I said about 1930-ish region. We got to 1925. I actually still think that this one is going to fight through here, but we actually do have some hidden bearish divergence. Or is this really hidden bearish divergence? Actually, it's not, because I'm using extremely aggressive settings right now. So no, that would not be proper right there. What about a low term time frame though? Do we have anything obvious? Actually, low term time frames do look like they want to turn back up. Yeah, I'd probably be looking for this one to pop back up to about 1922, 1925-ish region, and then I want to see the weekly closure. So for right now, short term upside, and we'll come back and analysize it after the weekly close. Let's do a quick look at NASDAQ. I didn't really have a strong opinion on this one earlier today. A little bit of upside, if anything, of which we're kind of getting right now. But would I still hold with that? Would I still be looking for more? Probably yes. I do think that is essentially going to follow SPY and tag up towards the 10 simple right there, somewhere around a little bit above 11,800-ish region. Don't feel all that strongly about it, but how's the weekly looking? Yeah, the weekly is a bounce off the 10 simple as well. So essentially what I'm saying here is, you know, hold a range. I don't really want to say anything for the long term, but short term, yeah, a little bit of upside. Probably plays between where we're at right now and about 11.8 region. And then let's follow up on Bitcoin from this morning's video as well. Fuck, where's my water? Dude, where's my water? That should be a movie, because I really need some water right now. Where's my Bitcoin chart here too? Yeah, there we go. All right, would I hold on to what I said during this morning's video? Would I be looking for a move back down to about 12.7 first before another upside try? Looks like I'm gonna be wrong about that one, because it's trying to the upside right now, but I still have the same sort of general disposition on this as I did in the morning video. My opinion on which side it tags is less important to what the breakage and resolution of this range is. So if I'm using a 4-hour, I would be looking for a 4-hour delta closure above 13,100 to denote a breakout to the upside, and looking for a move towards about 13,600 in line with our fib extension right here. Or is it right here? Oh yeah, it is right here. If I actually just collapse this a bit, one spot 414. We already did this in the morning though, so I won't go into much more detail here. Definitely watch this morning's video if that piques your interest, I guess. And it does look like we probably actually try that area once again, but it does not imply that we actually break it just yet. Do we see momentum also just falling through as well? Not really, kind of turning down, if anything. You know, if I did have to call this one right now, I do think that we probably stab like 13,100 again, and then probably come back down to about 12.7-ish region short term. Coming into next week though, I do think that we're gonna have a much greater range. Next week, I wouldn't be surprised if we both tag 13,600 and then also come down to like 12,200. You know, but again, this is a differentiation between short term, medium term, and long term. And in this case right here, short term, maybe test this area up to the upside once again. I'm actually not really convinced that it's going to break it just yet to the upside. I actually do think that we will test back down to 12.7 and then have some weekend displeasures. What about the 3-hour, very low term time frame right here as well? Yeah, momentum all turning down here too. Did we get a sell signal on? Not really. I think the next one that lines up is going to be a legitimate one though. So we are kind of on a ticking time bomb right now. 2-hour did fire off a decent sell signal actually here, to be fair, and that was on this high right here at about 13,000. Now, would it be relevant to say that move already played out from 13,000 down to 12,850? No, I don't think so actually. So what I want to see is I want to see the 2-hour actually pop back up a little bit and maybe give another soft sell, and then I want to see the 3-hour give like an actual sell, and then yes, I'd be looking for that move down to about 12.7 base, we'll call it. What about the hourly? Hourly kind of flip-flopping around here too. I basically have the same thing to say about this. I'm sure a lot of people are calling this off as an ascending triangle. Technically speaking, it is right now, but I usually don't see them work out with this aggressive of a of a trend line right here. Usually, it's going to come something more slanted like this, more conservative like this, and that's why I actually do think that Bitcoin probably does test back down somewhere around 12.7 first before giving a legitimate try to the upside. So with that said, probably not too helpful on Bitcoin right now because I don't really have anything to add on from this morning's video. The ranges are the same essentially. 4-hour closure above 13,100, or if I'm using a 3-hour, I'd be looking for a closure above 13,130, or if I'm using a 2-hour, I'd be looking at about 13,150. Using an hourly, I'd be using 13,230-ish region as well. All of those would denote a breakout to the upside. But until that happens, I basically look for the range to hold. Can it grind this area out at 13,100 a few more times? Yeah, absolutely. But as long as there's no breaks above, I'll basically be looking for it to play back down here and then set in a little bit of a base and then try again to the upside. And hopefully that takes us into tomorrow. I think this is my turn to wish you the best once again. Take care, and until next time.